All right, Ambush. Today we are joined by a member of the epic band, one that I have been a fan of for so long. We have had one of the other members of this group on the show before, and one, Brian Borscht. But in this time, we are joined by Graham Walsh of Holy Fuck. And holy fuck, have they released some amazing new singles in Airport, Dreamshift, and Lost Cool, which we're going to be diving here today. How is it going, Graham?
It's going great. Yeah, man. Can't complain. Hanging out in my music zone here at home. It's kind of been what I've been doing mostly for the past year and a half. So it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
Hey, a lot of time to use that creative energy, right?
Totally. It's kind of the only thing that keeps you sane, or me anyways. I don't know. We've definitely, at least myself, reflected on the importance of having good space during a pandemic. And this was definitely a refuge. Yeah. And just being able to just remain creative and productive throughout this time has been a huge mental health saver for sure.
Well, I am very glad to hear that, and I am excited to dive into exactly some of the energy that was captured that came out of this time. And of course, I would love to start off with your critically acclaimed album Deleters, released at the beginning of 2020. And of course, in Holy Fuck fashion, you guys were planned to go heavy on the road across the world, taking that sound to the fans, but plans changed. So what I would like to know is exactly how did Holy Fuck sort of rebound from that? How did you guys sort of go forward with getting these new singles, with sort of getting that next wave, being prepared for when things opened back up here? Because it's been quite a while here, and of course the band lives in different parts of the country as well, and you, from what I can see, record mostly off the floor, so quite a few challenges here.
No, totally. We had we had a tour canceled twice. So yeah, everything was kind of getting ready to gear up there, and then like everybody, the rug got pulled out. But like I was saying before, the best thing to do is to just stay productive, keep your brain active. So, we're used to kind of working. We work as a band when we get together. We'll on tour. I mean, our drummer lives in New York City already. So, and our bass player has always lived for a long time, he's lived in Halifax. And then Brian and I were here in Toronto. So we always were kind of like a mixed up bunch. And now since Brian's moved back to Nova Scotia as well, we're even more separated. So yeah, with lockdowns and stuff and our tours getting canceled, we weren't obviously able to meet up. We don't have a jam space where we can just get together and hash out ideas. So, and just to keep busy, we just shared a bunch of ideas online, got a cloud Dropbox folder happening, and just shared bits. We would, I uploaded a couple ideas, Brian uploaded a couple ideas, and then we would kind of contribute to them on our own in our own spaces. And our drummer, Matt, he would go into his basement and on his iPhone record drum beats and upload those to use. And we just put together things kind of that way, which is not how we prefer to do things, but we're also, you got to embrace the limitations and embrace the challenges. And so we made it work. I don't know. We're kind of happy with what we got going. So we put 2 songs out.
Okay, so you mentioned that there's a lot of demoing from files being dropped and sent, but drums being recorded on an iPhone. Were some members having to wait to get into a studio, or did you guys all have to set up home studios? How did that sort of process of actually getting the true recording, the stems together,
Well, here's that's the beauty of making music is you can, and especially technology these days, you can kind of make it's you use the tools you have at hand. So, like I know Matt, our drummer, was looking at getting into. He would have to record some studio time for because he did drums on some other songs that aren't out yet. But um, uh, no, and Brian and we both have our own music spots at home. I've got mine here, so that's no waiting there. But like the drums on Airport Dreams are Matt's iPhone. They were just a drum loop that he recorded on his iPhone in like a concrete room in his basement. And you put it in the computer and you crush the sound. You kind of like fiddle around with it. It sounds awesome, and you build around that. So you don't always need a studio. You can kind of make things work. So we just cobbled it together like we always do.
Just taking the natural vibe of everything, as you guys would sort of take with Off the Floor, you sort of just go with how it all comes together. So this way you weren't fighting everything, you were just going with the flow.
Yeah, I mean, the live off the floor thing is definitely something I like it a lot, and especially when for us, we make music that's for the most part loop based and guided by a click track maybe, or it's like a bit rigid. So any time you can put sort of an organic, natural feel to it, if we do it live off the floor, and our effects aren't completely locked into a exact tempo and stuff, like adding feel like that definitely helps. And when you're doing things separately, you lose that a little bit, and you lose that breathing and pushing and pulling as opposed to when you do stuff live off the floor. The other thing is like communication flows way more freely when we're all in the same room. And like that's the other frustrating thing is like, I have this with other music I work on too. Like when a decision that could be made in literally 3 seconds when you're together takes like a week, because you could just show somebody and it should be like this or like this. And when you have to answer emails and present it both different ways or online, it just like adds to that time. So that's a big stumbling block. I don't know. That kind of sucks.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Are people checking their messages and whatnot, right? Like giving you the standard 3 business days rather than just being like, yes, okay, I'm face to face with you.
And understanding like what you're talking about too, because you got to write it out. Where it's like you could just say, should it be this shade of blue or this shade of blue? Like then you gotta describe it over the email, or like I don't know. It's just way easier in person to just do it and get it done and make a decision and then move on. But I don't know. I think we learned a lot about ourselves and how we make music, and maybe there's some things we'll take into the future that we've learned. So it's good.
Hey, possibly, right? Adapt and conquer, and as you move forward, right?
Totally.
Awesome. And of course, with these 2 singles that have been released, we see that there are vocalists that are featured as you guys continue to work into that world, working with more artists, continuing to collaborate more and more, building onto your guys' sound. But of course, both of these vocalists are located in Europe.
Yeah.
So did that add challenges as well, sort of figuring things out? Did you happen to have connections with both of Lucia and Sarah beforehand? How did that sort of come together?
Yeah, well, we've always, we've dabbled with guest singers and things like that before. And on Deleter, we had Alexis Taylor. He threw in some vocals that we put in, and our friend Angus and Nick. And then, so we kind of just continued along that thread. We had, on these songs, we had people we wanted to reach out to, and our management were particularly helpful in that regard. And like with Sarah Bonito, it was a good coincidence there. We're managed by the same people, but I love Kiro Bonito. I saw them when they were here. They're really fantastic. So that was a great, collaboration. And with Lucia, the management just kind of reached out. So what we did is we had all these ideas and demos and songs in various states that we'd fleshed out. So we just made, again, like in the spirit of online collaborating, made a folder, sent it out, and like to, Lucia, or like, here, like, do you hear anything? Like, pick something. And she picked that song. And then Sarah's was interesting because she picked actually a completely different song. And she sang that vocal part on top of it. And I'm not sure the song that she sang on is completely done yet, but her vocal performance inspired a whole new thing. So we took her vocal performance and like built a new song around that. So that was kind of interesting. So I think the fact that like they were, it wasn't that difficult to work with them, just because again, the parameters were so loose, and we were just like, whatever happens, and they were very much open to whatever. Like Sarah was open to us taking her vocal part and rewriting something new around it. And Lucia, it was all through email back and forth, but she was up for trying stuff and sending things back. So communication was good for there. It was pretty seamless. And yeah, we're really happy with how everything turned out.
Okay, so you mentioned that you took the lyrics from a song and actually wrote around it. So of course, as artists, I'm sure that in other forms you've done that before, but as Holy Fuck yourselves, is that the first time that you've actually written around lyrics as opposed to just sending the track to the artist and being like, hey, what can you guys do with this?
I suppose so. Yeah. I mean, mostly there's been, I guess when we've worked with guests on Deleter with Alexis, we had an idea and sort of conveyed the idea, but gave him the song. And then Alexis had his idea. That was a nice back and forth. And I suppose for Sarah, it was the kind of the first time of taking a vocal and her melody line and completely constructing things. I've done that before on my own though. Like I've worked on records where you get the demo, and the demo is like a vocal and then maybe like a piano part or an acoustic guitar part. And that's a really fun exercise to mute out the piano part or the guitar part, and then see where like the vocal melody line will inform new decisions and how you can reinterpret it and come up with new ideas. It's really kind of fascinating. It's fun.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah. I've done that with hip hop acapellas, which is also really fun in Ableton. I have a folder of like Jay-Z's acapella from this song, and you can just write new beats under it and completely change the song around, and it sounds awesome. It's fun writing exercises.
Yes, it's. I remember at one point in my life, I found Jay-Z mixed with Chrono Trigger as an album online, and it's like it's very cool what you can find out there.
Yeah, totally. It's all up for grabs.
Absolutely, I love it. And of course, with these true tracks, you mentioned that the vocalist, the writer, maybe has their own idea. So with Airport Dreamshift, you mentioned that you were writing around the idea of the lyrics. For Lost Cool, what exact energy was the band trying to capture with this track here?
Well, I mean, again, we're dealing with maybe there wasn't a super specific direction, but we're dealing with sort of like online collaboration. So, I mean, all of our songs basically start with a little, I mean, like any song with a, seed of an idea, and there'll be a little riff or a little loop or a sample or a sound to kind of build upon. And, that one, I think, was just like messing around down here and coming up with it's just a synth line, and just kind of playing around with it, stumbling upon this line. And I found that like, you could kind of pile anything on top of it and it was still badass. Like it was that anchored, this synth loop kind of anchored everything. You could kind of A-B in the song structure. But anyways, I just thought it was primed for online collaboration. Like I'll just upload this. I think it's really inspiring. You can put whatever you want on top of it. So that was kind of it. I mean, maybe it was inspired by something, like old, like lo-fi 80s synthwave music and minimal techno and stuff like that. And that's maybe why I really like this kind of minimal synth line. It's commanding, and it can lead the song along. And then, there was just, I think I had a melody line that was pretty abstract going over top of it. yeah, we just shared it around, and yeah, Lucia took the vocal part and kind of obviously made it way less obscure. Her voice brought it was awesome how it came together, because her voices fit the vibe really perfectly. Like when I maybe think back to the initial beginnings of that song and kind of this room it should live in, or this nightclub it should live in, her voice fit really well, just her delivery and her tone and all that. And yeah, she just, when we sing, and particularly when I sing, it's always masked with effects and it's behind a mask. But with her, the vocals are becoming more upfront, and they can jump out of the song more so than our other stuff. So that's also a cool thing too, that we can do with other singers. So that worked out well.
Nice. Awesome. I love that. I love that. So of course I have to ask, with these 2 tracks, do they lead us to a new collection? Is there a new album potentially on the forefront, on the horizon?
Well, we got these, we're taking one step at a time, because we've got these tour dates. There's always ideas. There's a lot of things. I think we genuinely do prefer to write together in the room. And I know we'll get back to that, and we'll take lessons learned here moving forward. But yeah, there's not like an immediate bank of material ready to go or anything like that. But there's always ideas in various states of flux that are ready to, that are happening. So we'll see. We're definitely there's still gas in the tank, that's for sure, to keep going and things like that. But yeah, we're really excited about these tour dates coming up and being able to meet up together and be in the same room and play and get that vibe again. So that'll be great.
Yes, you mentioned there's some tour dates, and it's not just a few tour dates. You guys got from a couple months there in 2022 already announced here, where you guys are going to be having 3 dates in Canada, across the United States of America. You guys are also hitting the UK and Europe. My goodness, you are going straight back at it, right back into the bus, diving feet first back into the water with this. Holy.
Yes, yeah. Well, we don't mess around. I don't know. We're excited about it. And I feel a little bit like a little mouse coming out of his little like hole into the world to make sure everything's okay. I know it's still a ways off and everything. I have friends who are going on tour, are on tour now, and going out very shortly. So I know I'm hearing all about their experiences and stuff like that. So that's interesting. But we're going all over. We always like going around as much as possible, and not limiting ourselves to one. Just get out there, go. It's a big world. Go and play for as many people as we possibly can. And I don't know. It's great. It's great to be able to do that. So if we can, I want to, as long as I can.
Awesome. All right. And of course, if the listeners of this interview, if the fans of the band want to find out more about these tour dates and these new tracks, where can they go ahead and do so?
Yeah, the songs are on all your preferred streaming platforms, and then tour dates are on our website, holyfuckmusic.com. You can go there. We have a mailing list set up for pre-sale things and whatnot, but yeah, it's all there. We'll have physical copies if you're interested out with us on tour. I think there's plans afoot to make a 7-inch of these 2 songs. And it's there. It's all out there, and we're excited to come back. It was we've had like a false start. It's funny, like we made this record we're really proud of, and weren't able to really give it its due time. And now it feels like we can get out there and play these songs. We have to rehearse and figure out how to play these songs again.
It's true. There's still a lot of people who are waiting to hear Deleters live as well. So.
That's cool. Yeah. And then we'll figure out these new songs, and there you go. That's it.
Awesome. All right. Well, I have had a fantastic time diving behind these new songs, these upcoming tour dates. Before I let you go, though, I have one last question. Are you ready for it?
All right, I'm always ready. Yeah.
All right, all right. Well, we have talked about the growth of the band as you have had to adapt through the past year and a half here in creating these two new singles here. You mentioned the mental health aspect of music and otherwise. So what I would love to know is over this past year and a half through these adaptations, through being able to take this time to slow down and use your creative energy. What I would love to know is how through this time, how have you grown as a person? Or what has it taught you about yourself?
Oh, oh God, this is a good question. Deep. Well, I'm trying to. I've been trying to just focus on myself and myself more creatively, and I think because of I mean, maybe that's obvious, having not being able to see anybody, and I've got and you know, just trying to be more creative and kind of, that's sort of the only thing I realize you only really have control over yourself and what you do. So, you know, I mean, it's always a life goal to be the best person you can be and be, you know, rise to the occasions and be a kind person, all those sorts of things. And those are always what I'm striving for. Particularly this past year, yeah, just working on myself creatively and try new things, be bold, and work on those other musical skills, I guess, and experiment and not be concerned about the end result. I've had some new friendships blossom and other musical partnerships develop just out of that idea of getting together for no reason to work on music. That's kind of when music becomes really, you know, I'm, you know, a focus and you know, you're touring and you get in a cycle and you're making albums with a band. You can often lose the idea of working on music for no reason. And that playfulness of like not caring what the outcome is, not worrying that no one's going to hear it and just trying things out. And I feel, you know, it's really important. And that maybe that was something that was I focused on a lot this year too. It's just like, I have a friend here who I got together with for no reason. Like, let's just meet up and jam for no reason. And we'll just record and write. And this is awesome. And we got ideas and we got some things and I learned a lot and I developed new processes of creating and I got new ideas and new sounds and stuff. And so that was really rewarding. I don't know if I would have had time to do that had I not things not slowed down as much as they did. So that was really good. That was, musically speaking, that was awesome.
Awesome. Well, I'm very glad that you had the time to do that. And I'm glad that you took the time to join us here today on the Desert Tiger Podcast, Graham.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. It was a nice chat.